Hi, Sheridan Webb here from the Training Designers Club, which is the place to go for practical L&D support. And today I'm answering a question that actually came up in the free group, and that is, how should I structure my training course? It sounds like it's quite a straightforward question, but actually when you start to dig below the surface, it's not. And it's something that if you are a subject matter expert that hasn't really grown up being a training designer, it's a very valid question as well. So I will attempt to answer it briefly. However, for a detailed explanation as to how to go about deciding what your content is, how best to structure it, how to bring it to life, please do go to the Training Designers Club website and check out the online courses, because I go into it in much more detail in those courses, so you'll be able to come away with a really good idea of exactly how to go about actually creating your course. But back to today's question, how should I structure my training session? There's three main ways, and I'll just try and discuss each in less than 2 minutes. Very briefly, the three main ways are you can structure it as a journey, so we start at A and we end up at B. You can structure it topic by topic, or you can take a problem-centered approach. So just a quick explanation of what each is and how and when they may be useful. So if we're going to follow a journey, this makes total sense if what you are training has a definite start and end point. So if you're teaching a process, for example, if you're doing recruitment training or even coaching training, if you're introducing the topic, not teaching actual experts. So this is the process that we follow, and this is how we go through that process. So you can take each part of that process and you can cover it in detail. How we cover each part is best covered by using Master, and that is a course all by itself. I'm not going to go into detail here, but I will put a link to a cut down version of that course in the notes accompanying this video. The second way is to do it topic by topic. So this is when it doesn't really matter what the order is for you to go through your training. So bearing in mind I come from a corporate training environment, this would work perfectly well, for example, in induction training. You have to go through certain things with new starters. You have to tell them about each of the departments, for example. Now, obviously, they learn about their department first, but then it doesn't really matter which order we cover the other departments. We have to go through IT security. We have to go through general health and safety. We have to go through payroll. So the order doesn't really matter, and that's why that sort of training lends itself really, really well to self-guided on-demand training. So people can log on to an LMS and they can click on whichever topic they want to do that day, and they can choose the order that they cover things. Again, within those topics, I strongly advocate using the master structure to bring that topic to life, particularly if you're designing a live session, whether that's face-to-face or virtual. The third way that you can structure your training is to take a problem-centered approach. So if, for example, we are looking at handling complaints, or learning how to knit, something like this, you can take a problem-centered approach. So we go through the absolute basics, we give an overview, and then we say, so here's scenario one. What do we need to do, or how can we overcome this particular situation? And scenario one is very straightforward. So it would link into perhaps more generic things you've already covered. But let's say we are talking about customer service, handling complaints. It's a very straightforward complaint. The customer is being quite reasonable. So let's think about how we would respond to that. So we can pull out the relevant communication skills and processes that we'd need to tap into to handle a very straightforward complaint. You would then escalate it to say, well, okay, it's a more complicated complaint. There's perhaps the second time they've come back, there's perhaps bigger consequences. So yes, we still might look at the communication skills, but we're going to look at more specific communication skills in more detail. We're perhaps going to introduce a different procedure. So you can see how that would kind of build. You start off with the real basics, but then we go into more and more detail with the complexity of the situation. So that is 3 ways that I think it makes total sense to structure your training course or even your training program. So just to reiterate, we can take people on a journey. First do A, then do B, then do C, and this is how we do it. You can just do it topic by topic. If the order doesn't really matter, then going topic by topic works really, really well, and especially if you combine that with using Master to bring that content to life. And the third way is to take a problem-centered approach, where those problems are getting more and more complex and we are building on the skills and knowledge as we go through the course. Just so that I'm not leaving you hanging, MASTER stands for Mindset, Acquire Information, Sift for the Meaning, Trigger the Memory, Exhibit the Learning, and Review and Reflect. And as I said, I will put a link to a cut down version of the course that you can find on the Training Designers Club website if you want to learn more about that. And talking of which, please do visit the website for lots more practical hints, tips, resources, courses, and of course to be part of our very generous and responsive VIP community, all there to help make training design quicker, easier, and less stressful.